Okay, for this video, I wanted to address a common question I get, which is, are my Social Security distribution payments, is that income taxable to me? Right, so if you're a retiree and you're drawing Social Security every year, the income that's being deposited into your bank account, is that going to be subject to tax? Do you need to report on your return? And the answer to the question is, it depends. Like everything in U.S. tax, it always depends. And the biggest determining factor is how much other income you have from other sources, okay? So I've got just one slide in front of us, talk about some of the thresholds and then a few examples on when the income might be reported. So again, just as basic info, Social Security income or SSI, it's paid to individuals who are retired for the most part, right? So if you hit age 65 in the U.S., this is full retirement age. At that point, you can start drawing Social Security or you can defer it. Right, a lot of people that are still working elect not to take the Social Security payments at age 65. Right, so you can keep deferring it. So individuals can work past age 65, many do, and you can collect Social Security income at the same time. Now, if you're working and collecting Social Security income at the same time, your Social Security income is always included in gross income. But if you have income from other sources, it might be taxable, right? And so what you need to be careful about is, do you meet certain thresholds that make it taxable? Okay, so the income payments are reported to you on an SSA-1099, right? That's issued by the government to you, shows how much was paid out during the year, whether there were any federal income taxes withheld, and then if there were any Medicare, Medicaid premiums taken out as well, right? So what are the thresholds? Well, up to 50% of your Social Security income may be subject to federal income taxes if you're a single filing taxpayer and you have gross income of at least $25,000, or if you're married and your income is $32,000 and up. So what's an example of what that might look like? Well, John is 80 years old. He collects $35,000 per year in Social Security income. One half of his SSI is $17,500, right? That's $35K times 50%. But because his $17,500 in SSI falls below the threshold of 25, none of his Social Security income is going to be subject to federal income taxes, right? So if you're at or below certain thresholds, again, all of it is gross income under the tax code. But if your income thresholds are below that certain number, then it's not going to be taxable income to you. Now, there's a step up in thresholds if you make more money. So up to 85% of your Social Security income could be subject to tax. If you're a single filer and your gross income is 34 or up, or if you're a married filing joint couple and you have $44,000 or more in income. So let's look at an example here where they are going to be paying some income taxes on their Social Security income. So we have Mark. He's 70 years old and he still works part-time for a consulting company. So he has $30,000 a year in Social Security income, and then he has a W-2 from his part-time job with $40,000 in gross earnings. So if you were to complete the Social Security worksheets and work this out, of the $40,000, so firstly, the $40,000 is just W-2 wages, right? So that's reported on line 1, that's gross income. Now, if we look at the Social Security worksheets to figure out how much of this $30K is going to be subject to tax, it works out to where of the $30K, $22,350 is going to be taxable income to Mark, right? And that's because he's exceeding these thresholds here, right? The $34,000 gross income threshold. So on his Form 1040, what does he do? Well, he reports the $30,000 in SS income in box 6A, right? That's where you report the gross amount that was paid out. And then he reports $22,350 in box 6B, right, which is the taxable portion of the SSI. Really important to carefully go through the worksheets to see how much is going to be taxable. My recommendation, of course, is always to use a tax preparation software because the amounts will be computed automatically for you, right? The computer's much better at math than we are, so go ahead and use that to your advantage. But overall, the messaging here is, the baseline is Social Security is still gross income, but there's a very high threshold. Well, not a high threshold, but there's a threshold that says for the most part, you're not going to be paying any income taxes on it. But if you do have income from other sources, whether it's part-time earnings from a job or you have other investment income, rental properties, all of these things need to be considered to determine how much of your Social Security income is going to be subject to tax. So that covers it. Thanks for watching. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.